Center for Spiritual Living, Tucson. Here we are, December 1st. Ooh, yes, exactly. We're getting there. We're getting to Christmas. And we're getting to a lot of other things. I hope you all had a wonderful Thanksgiving. I know I did. I've had a very, very busy weekend. Thanksgiving was great. I went to the Unity group potluck with other CSL people. It was really wonderful to have everyone there. And of course, do I dare say it? ASU. No pity for the kitty, as we say. No pity for the kitty. But, oh, you guys played a good game. It was good. It was a blessing. So we're on to we get the, what is it? After, I think they said, I was asking Charles yesterday, it was like 10 years since we've had the cup. We've had the rivalry cup go back and forth, and I'm like, you know what? After 10 years, it's about time we get it. But anyway, so it's been a wonderful weekend, and I looked at the calendar today and thought, wow, here we are with Advent. And Advent and Christmas time, which go together, very special time. And where I'm going to lead you as we follow the star of Christmas, and what Christmas really means is Christ Mass, or the Mass of Christ. And what that really means is that we are celebrating the light that comes. And what all of that showed us by this particular person coming into the world and the stories being told about them is that they reflected that we are a light as well. We are light in the world. And then that's simply what it is. We don't have to get dramatic about the stable and the angels and everybody flying around and doing things. What we really, really, really look at is the light. The light that has come and is represented within each of us. So this month I'm going to take you on a journey. And yes, we're going to follow the star. And how we follow that star is we begin with the soul's journey. And what is the soul? And my talk title this morning, as you see, is called Yielding to Your Understanding of the Greater Love of Your Own Soul. Yes, the greater love of our own soul. And it is that relationship that we have as a soul. You know, after we take off this whatever it is, we have a soul that is deep and that is connected to that light, the light that lives within everything. And we light up the world as well. So the soul is a combination of the physical body and the life-giving Spirit of God that makes us human. Yes, the two work together. While the soul is our life, the Spirit transcends the soul and opens us to a life filled with God's divine love. So what happens is this soul that we have within us and are experiencing what we call life is actually a gift. Because what happens is we're gathering. We're gathering information. We're gathering all kinds of different things of experiences. And so what's happening is our soul is growing and expanding. And yes, sometimes it gets a little crazy with the experiences that we have, and we often think, why? Why do I have to go through this? Well, look at it as a soul growth opportunity, or as I like to call them, AFGOs, another fine growth opportunity. And so everything that happens for us is to create something within us to get stronger, to know something better. And of course, it's always one of those things that we take notes and go, note to self, not going to do that again, or not with that person again, or whatever it is. So we continue to grow. And as we grow, we see a bigger light all the time. Spirit, which is within us, is a spark. It is that spark that we know from birth. But it takes us a while to really get into, because we don't realize that we have that spark. And once we realize that we have that spark within us, which is that God presence, which is what Jesus the Christ was trying to get around. In fact, most of the prophets, if you read in their books, they're all trying to express the relationship that we have with the God of our understanding. And sometimes it takes a few paths or whatever it is for us to understand where that light is coming from. And actually, it's very easy. It comes from the heart, and it comes from within. The soul is the spiritual part of us. It is that deep, moral part of us that has the emotional nature. It's all that stuff that we react to. It is the deepest part of us that wants to search, that yearns for something else. You know, most of us are here because we started out somewhere else on our spiritual journey. And then all of a sudden we went, you know what? I feel like I've outgrown this. There's got to be something better. There's got to be something more that I can know about. And so what happens is one day you walk through the threshold of a New Thought Center church and you go, yeah, that's what I'm looking for. This is what expands me. This is what makes sense to me. You know, holy, 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 you know, doesn't do it for me anymore because I'm past that. I'm past all of that. I know that it's just not about showing up every Sunday and getting my grape juice and cracker, you know. It's something definitely more fulfilling. That I know that, you know, in the metaphysical realm, metaphysical is beyond the beyond. So when we say about New Thought and the metaphysical realm, what we're doing is we are looking beyond the beyond. We're saying this, there's something else. And, you know, and there will be times where you will probably look at, you know, religious science, science of mind, unity, divine science, Christian science, whatever you want to call it, and you'll say, you know, there's something else I'm looking for. And you might go on to something else. You might go on to Buddhism or Hinduism or, what is it? It was Pamaranda Yogananda. You know, you can go on there. But what happens is we find that we have this beautiful base of light and love. So when we have a sense of asking questions, and I'm going to ask you all of this, and you don't have to answer out loud, but how do we find those things that we long for? How do we do that? First, we practice the presence. And how do we do that? Well, the God of our understanding, what we do is we have our time with it. And it doesn't mean that you have to sit in the corner and for a while. No, it's merely saying, you know what, I know that there is this beautiful energy that works through me as me. And I want to spend time with it. So what you do is you allow yourself to allow it to talk to you, to speak to you. We speak about this still small voice, and yes, that's what it is. It's this still small voice that we think, oh, wait a minute, something's speaking to me. Are we sure? Yes. It's your heart. It's your heart telling you what's really going on. So how can we practice the presence of God unless we believe that God is right where we are? How do we do that? How do we practice the presence unless we know that and we accept that this energy of love and light is right where we are all the time? God and life are the same thing, and we are living in the God life. Yes, you are. You're living a divine life because what brought you here, that creative power that all it is, that loving energy is part of you and will always be a part of you. It cannot go away. So if you think you're here and that loving energy is over here, think again. It's right where you are, right here and right now. Ernest Holmes said, for everything we do, say, and think is life living itself through us, expressing itself as us. Yes. The soul is expressing divinity. The soul is expressing God. The other thing we look at is soul contains the memory because it is receptacle for the seeds of our thought. So when we're doing and planning and all this other stuff that we're going on, think of it as like seed, soil, plant. Thoughts are things. The soul is taking in everything as we experience life, and it's saying, okay, this is what I like, this is what I don't like, this is what I want to remember, well, maybe things I should remember. But it's all part of, as again, the expansion of love. Ernest Holmes said, we are using the word soul in the sense of a universal soul or medium through which spirit operates. It is the Holy Ghost, or third person of what is referred to as the Christian Trinity, or as we like to call it, spirit, mind, and body. Like the creative soil in which seeds are planted and from which plant life comes, the soul of the universe is the creative medium into which the word of spirit falls and from which creation arises. That's what we mean. Thoughts are things. So when we go through our day and we're thinking about whatever it is, and I've mentioned this before, that isn't it interesting when we think about something and all of a sudden it shows up? Mm-hmm. And you kind of think, you know what, I was just thinking about that person. And they just texted me. Oh my gosh, how did that happen? How did that happen? Well, it's because what happened is you put the energy out there and their energy met yours and said, hey, I better call that person. And that's what happened. And that happens in a lot of other things. Say something you need for your house, or I don't want to say need, you require. And then all of a sudden it shows up one day and somebody says, you know, I'm having this garage sale. You know, if you want to come over or whatever. And then you go over there and there's the thing that you want. Free. Because the universe freely gives. What would it look like if each and every one of us really got honest with that beautiful power of love and light and said, you know what, I can do good works in the world. And I can also receive as well as give. As I've said, what we put out, we get back. And it's all about love. And Ernest Holmes, and it was interesting when he was writing all his books and towards the end of his life, he said, you know, I really kind of blew it. I spent all this time on law, which is how God works and how the universe responds and all this stuff that we teach. And he said, what I really should have been teaching is how love works, which is the spirit and the soul together. How that beautiful union of light and love works within us. And it's automatic that whatever we think out here will happen because of that relationship. He thought, well, I shouldn't have had to really teach that because love is giving and love is receiving. And so he said this, love alone shall discover the heart of God at the heart of humanity. Love alone shall reveal the self to the self and find enthroned in the high citadel of the secret place of God, in our own heart that benefits, which embraces the whole world. When love's activity is no longer confined to the littleness that restricts, but extends to everything and everyone, then shall we hear its song sung throughout the circuits of our lives. As Michael and Jim and Chris were expressing this morning, God is love. Yes. Yes. God is love. And it works through and as everything. Love animates us. It gives us fullness of life and makes us whole. We don't have any missing pieces. We are truly whole. Love is everywhere present, and it creates this invisible stream of flowing, everything flowing through it as it. Can you imagine yourself as a big flowing stream? Just everything free, feeling that you're not broken, that you're not a victim, that you're absolutely love and your light and your wholeness and your peace and your joy. Love expresses through us. Love expressed itself through Joseph and Mary, and this is the Christmas story that I would like to relate to you, is that as Joseph and Mary arrived in Bethlehem, we all understand that there was no room in the inn. So why is that important for us as metaphysicians? Because we look at the deeper story. And what we find out is, here is Joseph and Mary, two symbols of love that are carrying the light. And what happens is the inn is closed off to them. Well, what's an inn? Inn is usually a symbol of all kinds of activity. It's all flurry of different things and chaos. Really? So what happened is the innkeeper said, well, there's a stable next door if you want it. And so they looked at that stable and they thought, well, okay. And so what the stable was, it was the center of light. It became the center of light in its simplicity. You know, we don't have to look back, thousands and thousands of years to this story to really know the true meaning. What we look at it is, what is the reflection it is being told for humanity? That here are two people, or actually there are more than that, here and there, that we all carry the light. And what it is we stabilize ourselves in that light. And when we stabilize ourselves in that light, it grows and expands. And it touches so many. And so what we do is we look at this story and we say, life is simple. Life doesn't have to be complicated. And that when we celebrate this time of year of the winter solstice, which is also light, and we celebrate what is called the Mass of Christ, it's all about light. It's all about love. It's all about the coming together of soul and the divine. And so when we do that, we free ourselves of doubt and anything that can harbor negativity. So I invite you all this season to really look at things that are operating in your life and say, you know what? I know that love is right there. I know light is right there. I know that whatever it is moving away so that I can let the light and the love in. And so what I affirm this beautiful Advent Christmas season for all of us is that each of us is a point of love. Namaste. I love you, and so it is.